Welcome to Post Fight with Ray Thompson. This show is powered by MMA Crypt. For more interviews and podcasts, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, MMA Crypt. You can also follow MMA Crypt on Facebook and Twitter. It's at MMA Crypt on Twitter and MMA Crypt on Facebook. To follow me, it's at MMA Mental on Twitter, Ray Thompson on Facebook. I'm now joined by Neil Magny. Neil's coming off of an impressive victory over Tim Means at UFC Fight Night 40, taking his pro record to 10-3 and his UFC record to 3-2, putting you on a 2-fight win streak. Neil, thank you very much for joining me.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Congratulations on picking up another impressive win in the UFC.
Thank you. So it's pretty good to be on the winning side of things in the UFC.
Yeah, because 2 fights ago you were 1-2, you're now 3-2. So is it, like you say, is it nice to have a positive UFC record?
Yeah, it just shows how much I've been improving over the years. I started in UFC in 2013 and kind of had a difficult fight, and then I had 2 fights that I lost back-to-back. So being able to come back stronger and win 2 fights in a row is definitely a good feeling.
Absolutely, and win them impressively as well. Now, in the build-up to this fight, you were due to fight William Macario, of course, we saw on Tough Brazil. How did the change of opponent affect you?
The changes, I didn't think it affected me that much, but it actually did come fight night. William is an orthodox fighter. He's not much of a counter striker. He likes to come forward a lot. And he stands about 5'10", 5'11", so having to switch to a guy that's 6'2" and is a southpaw is a totally different matchup for me. Tim Means is more of a counter striker, whereas William was more of a brawler who would come forward and try to engage. So it had to be a lot more technical to fight against Tim Means and kind of work a different game plan with him.
Now, I was going to say, you and Tim are both known for your striking, and of course, you're both quite rangy strikes. Well, I remember I spoke to you before, and you had, I think last time on one of your wins, you had something like an 8 or 9 inch reach advantage. But of course, this was the complete opposite. He's quite rangy as well. How did you find that facing another rangy striker?
Yeah, Means is definitely a good striker. At first I was supposed to keep on the outside of my punches and work well, but he did a good job of closing the distance. I never felt I was able to actually establish my distance and establish my reach and work my striking from my range. So I had to switch it up and engage more in the clinch and try to force it into more of a grappling match type thing and look for either submission or TKO that way.
Now, the fight, it was a pretty close fight, but you certainly seem to be getting the better of the exchanges. How did you feel going into the third round?
Going to the third round, it felt pretty good. The second round, he told me to get the elbow to the side of the head. That kind of rocked me a bit, but I was able to recover in between rounds. And going to the third round, it felt pretty good. I knew I needed to go in there and look for a finish and try to finish strong in that fight in order to win it.
You did do that. You certainly did finish strong. You ended up in full mount and also taking his back. Did you feel you'd done enough over the 3 rounds to win the decision?
What was that?
Sorry, you did finish the fight strong. In the third round, you ended up in full mount, and also you took his back as well. Did you feel that you'd done enough over the 3 rounds to win the decision?
Yeah, definitely. At one point, the only time I've seen the fight I was really in danger was in about 30 seconds or so in the second round, where I threw a cage, he was able to catch it and get me down, and then as I was trying to work back to my feet, he was able to get me turning against the cage and get off some really good strikes that were pretty effective. But other than that, I felt like I did more throughout the fight as far as controlling the fight and landing more strikes in order to win that fight.
Now, how did you feel coming out of the fight? And you've been quite active since you've been in this UFC. I was just looking at your fight finder, and you fought November, February, May. Your fights have been like 3 months apart. So how are you feeling after that fight? And when would you like to get back in and compete again?
I feel pretty good coming out of that fight. I don't feel like I need to take much time off training, so I can't take a week or so just to get my mind right and my body recover a bit and then get right back to training. If I can get a fight in the next 3-4 months again, that'd be great.
Have you got your eye on anybody you like to face, and would you be interested in them rescheduling the fight with your original opponent, William Macario?
If I wouldn't go through, that'd be great. But honestly, I don't look for any particular any opponent in particular to face. It's just a matter of me showing how well I improve from fight to fight. Literally that night of this fight, I was talking to Neil Magny about it, and he was very critiquing about things I could have done better, could have done differently in that fight in order to have a different outcome. So I'm probably one of my biggest critics when I'm looking at fight and see what I can do different so I can better improve. So I don't necessarily look for an opponent in particular to fight. I look for another opponent to show how much better I've gotten and what I can possibly do.
I mean, one of the big things now, of course, in the UFC is they've introduced the rankings. It was top 10. It's now top 15. You know, you're on a 2-fight win streak. You're 3-2 overall in the UFC. Where do you see yourself, or how far do you feel you are to these to the UFC rankings?
I mean, I think I need at least another 2-3 fights for me to consider to be top ranked within the top 15. I mean, some guys think they can win 1 or 2 fights and they automatically need to be put in the top, but I'll gladly take the opponents as they come. I'll fight whoever gets to place in front of me and prove that I belong in the top with the other guys.
That's certainly the right attitude to have. Well, Neil, I really appreciate you giving me your time today, and congratulations on your 3rd impressive UFC victory.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Before we let you go, Neil, I'd just like to give you a chance to do some shout-outs. So let the listeners know about your Facebook and Twitter. Then anybody you'd like to thank, of course, including your sponsors.
I just want to thank all my sponsors for constantly on my back. I mean, Venom Fight Gear, the guys at Care Reps just setting everything up for me. Tough Rails. There's so many sponsors that help me out throughout training camp. I'm just a real thank for those guys and really appreciate everything they do for me.
Well, I really appreciate your time again, like I said before, Neil, and I can't wait till you step in and go 4-2.
Awesome. Thank you.